Alright, good evening everyone. So for my final AI project, I went ahead and created an AI governance and cyber risk framework navigator, which I'm going to speed through this presentation and show you at the end. It's a browser-based tool that connects technology risk concerns with the relevant governance and cybersecurity frameworks. It was built with AI, using it as a true development collaborator. So the problem I was focused on attacking is identifying that the right framework can be difficult to identify if you're a new user to the field of cybersecurity. For instance, one concern might have many different frameworks that apply to it. Someone who's new to the industry wouldn't have a clear starting point or potentially have too many starting points, so this tool is going to go ahead and point them in the right direction. It is going to go over some of the overlapping requirements and break down what particular requirement applies to their concern. My main goal was to create an accessible entry point where users could describe a concern in plain language with no prior framework knowledge needed. A little bit on how it works. The user is going to enter the concern into the website, and the website itself is built to detect the risk themes within that concern. From there, it ranks those frameworks against the prompt and gives them a percentage of relevance. It's going to give a final output with that score in mind and also provide the official link to the website, some of the different details on why this particular framework may or may not apply, and just give the user a really good starting point on which to start looking at new info. The website was created with privacy in mind. Any of the data that's put into the website is actually stored locally, so you don't have to worry about proprietary information being linked. AI actually supported the entire process rather than being used as a one-off for the actual implementation of the task. I used it to first give me an example of some of the different files that I could input to go ahead and create the website/tool. It helped me create some of the project files, and this was important because I didn't want to copy code or create a website without fully understanding how it's worked. I've created websites in the past, but with technology evolving, things have changed just a tad bit. So with this in mind, I was able to ask how the HTML, visual styling, scoring logic, and framework data for my particular website came together and interacted. AI was able to recommend a professional repository structure, which was GitHub, and help develop the README file and help troubleshoot some of the errors that I encountered when the website didn't behave as I expected. With this in mind, though, AI did not independently make these project decisions. I, as a stakeholder, determined the purpose of the website, evaluated whether the outputs made sense, and tested that functionality, which we'll get into in just a moment. Some of my biggest challenges actually were involving GitHub. So I started from zero. GitHub is not something I previously worked with, so I didn't have it installed or configured on my computer. Creating the account was easy, but working through some of the logic and what exactly is GitHub was something Google as well as AI was able to help me with. With this in mind, the file synchronization was also something that I had to work towards. I am known to store different versions of the same file under very similar names, so using AI, particularly Google's anti-gravity, to help sort through some of these file structures and the most relevant data/relevant one was important. It was able to help confirm that my local environment was properly configured before I actually uploaded it to the GitHub repository. And then once I had that part straightened out, it actually allowed me to do some of the integration testing. So once again, I did run into a few issues while I was trying to create my project, but using Google's anti-gravity significantly sped up the process in which I was able to mitigate some of the issues I encountered. This slide is actually going to talk about the results of one of the prompts I'm going to show you. It's going to be on an AI hiring system that screens job applicants. It's going to take this prompt, put it into my website, and then rank it against some of the frameworks, which you'll see over here on this right-hand side. Two particular examples I've chosen to show right now is the NIST AI Risk Management Framework version 1, and then that is also IEC 42001 2023 version. Both of these are ranked at a 95 percentile score, which will make sense in just a moment. My prototype mainly supports decisions without replacing human judgment. It gives users a good starting point on which to work towards. It provides local privacy protection and the actionable next steps with official links in mind. There are some future improvements that I would recommend, such as expanding the framework's database to include industry and jurisdiction context. This once again gets into a bit of the legal aspect of things, so I did opt to leave it out for this particular project. I would also look at improving the scoring validation a bit more. As I worked through this project, I did improve it a lot, but I think there's still some gaps that could be mitigated if this was pushed out to the public for usage.